and good evening all. I welcome all of you to this third annual meet of Philosophy Family. Well, as all of you know that during the COVID time that an initiative has been taken for the benefit of the students, and from that day we remember the first talk has been delivered by our professor Prafulla Mahapatra sir, and with his blessings, we are able to cover these 3 years, and we are hoping to do well in the future days to come. So we are able to see this day because of the blessings of the senior professors of the state and the nation, and we are very happy that during these 3 years we could conduct a number of webinars, and this could be uploaded successfully in the YouTube for the benefit of all. And over the period of these 3 years, we could bring 3 volumes based on the talks of senior professors of the state and the nation, okay, in the form of edited books. So we are trying our best to do well, and and today we are going to celebrate the third annual meet. And today we have with us the blessings of Professor Prafulla Mahapatra sir, because I could remember the day one when he delivered his lecture on the ethical theories. And today we are very happy that he is with us to grace this occasion as the chief guest. And we have with us also Professor Panneerselvam sir. He will be speaking on the Indian philosophical tradition and the Western philosophical method. So, two great scholars of the nation, they are with us, and along with them we have other professors, renowned professors of the state and the nation, and we are happy that we could see this day, and with the blessings of all of you, we can think of doing many things more. Now, as regarding Professor Prafulla Mahapatra sir, he needs no introduction. He is the teacher of many of the teachers in the philosophy family, and he is known to many people throughout the nation. He is well known to people, and we are happy that he is an active member of philosophy family. And we always seek his blessings so that we can do better and better in the days to come. And as regarding the chief speaker of the day, Professor Panneerselvam sir, he is so kind to us. Whenever we approached him for delivering a lecture, he was always with us. He was always guiding us he was always inspiring. He always tried to see what positive things that we have come across. He never pointed our mistakes. Rather he said how to rectify our mistakes to do better in the days to come. And we are happy that such a renowned man who is known throughout the nation and also in various parts of the world, and we are happy that he is there to deliver a lecture on the Indian philosophical tradition and the Western philosophical method. So, with these words, let us start this day with the lecture by Professor Panneerselvam sir, and then we will have some observations based on the talk of Prafulla Mahapatra sir, and also his own views on philosophy family and all. And today, the talk of Professor Panneerselvam sir is not open for discussion. There will be no interactive session. There will be only emotions flowing, what to do, how well to do in the days to come, so that we can do and excel well in the days and will do better and better in the days to come. So, inviting Professor Prafulla Mahapatra sir, Professor Panneerselvam sir, and other senior professors like Professor Sampath Kumar and Professor Alok Chandan sir, Professor Ranjit Ghosh sir, and Sampath Kumar sir, and many Avinash Srivastav sir, and many who have joined us to observe this annual meet. I'm very happy that even Professor Pramod Kumar Das sir, we can see on the screen that he has started worshipping. He has lighted a candle. Okay, and we also seek the blessings of Lord Jagannatha, because Professor Pramod Kumar Das sir is just staying just in front of the Puri temple. So I remind you, all of you, that he stays just in front of the Puri temple, and with all love to Lord Jagannath, seeking all his blessings, he has lighted a lamp so that we can, with the support of all the members of philosophy family, we can do as best as possible. There may be defects, there may be faults on our part, but you are there as the guides to guide us at every step. And with this hope, let us move forward. I welcome all of you, sirs, to this annual meet. And I also thank Professor Pramod Kumar Das for taking the initiative to give a shape to philosophy family, and also thank Dr. Kailas Mahana sir for being in the philosophy family, working together and connecting with people. And we are so happy that over a period of time of 3 years, at about 450 webinars have been already uploaded in the YouTube. 450 webinars, 450 talks on the YouTube. Maybe we may not be getting that success this day, but someday I think that will take some shape. With that hope, let us all move forward, and by the blessings of God, we can do better. With this hope, let us invite Professor Panneerselvam sir to deliver a talk on Indian philosophical tradition and the Western philosophical method. Over to Professor Panneerselvam sir for his lecture. Namaskaram, sir. Namaskar, sir. Sir, please, sir. Professor Panneerselvam, sir. This annual function, as I remind you, it's an academic meet. We don't have a celebration of a normal sort. We have a celebration of an academic sort. That's why we have a talk even on this day. And Professor Panneerselvam sir is there with us. And I request Professor Panneerselvam sir to initiate the talk. Whether Panneerselvam sir is there? Yes, sir is there. Sir, please, sir.
Yeah.
Sir. Namaskar.
Thank you.
Namaskar.
Namaskar. Namaskar. Thank you very much, Professor Om Narayan Rao ji. Most revered and respected Professor Prafulla Mahapatra ji. And I am grateful to Professor Maharana Narayan Rao ji, and then Professor Dash, who are mainly responsible for this interesting program, arranging this program successfully for the past 3 years. And we are very grateful to them for conducting meetings successfully. And not only that, they are able to bring out the volumes that speaks the caliber and the hard commitment, hard work and commitment of the philosophy family members. And I am also grateful to the members of the family. And I could see Professor Sambat Kumar ji, then Srivatsa ji, Alok Tandon, and many others for kindly joining this program. Now, I would be speaking to you on Indian philosophical tradition and Western philosophical methods. What I'm trying to argue here is that how there is a convergence or a synthesis between Indian and Western philosophical problems. This means there is a philosophical journey which has been undertaken both by Indian philosophers and Western philosophers. The issues are one and the same. Though not exactly one and the same, we can say that there is a commonality between Indian tradition and Western tradition. You see, it has been said by Plato that philosophers analyze the problem of one and the many. And the problems vary, of course, with regard to the culture, tradition, historicity, and all that one. But the core of philosophical problem or the philosophical tradition remains the same. In fact, I would say that the methods may differ, but you can see how the same problem has been approached by two traditions in two different ways, and as a result of which we get different answers. In fact, I am reminded of Professor B.K. Matilal, who argued that it is always interesting to note that how a philosophical problem can be seen from two different perspectives, and how we can get two different answers. This means the culture plays a very important role in giving solution to the philosophical problem. This is very much essential to understand the philosophical background of both Indian and Western philosophical tradition. I am always fascinated by some of the very interesting methods which have been developed both in India as well as in the West. With regard to Indian philosophical tradition, we can say that from the ancient time onwards, we have been practicing philosophy in a novel and innovative way. The way in which our ancient tradition and ancient philosophers have analyzed the problems of philosophy is something which we have to take into account while analyzing the issues regarding philosophy. Now, let me say something about the Western philosophical methods, because my aim is to show that how a parallel could be drawn between Indian philosophical tradition and Western philosophical methods. Of course, in Western philosophy, we have got different methods of doing philosophy. Especially the 20th century philosophy is something very remarkable in the West, for the main reason that many philosophical schools under the banner of contemporary Western philosophy have emerged. For example, we have existentialism, phenomenology, and prior to that, analytic philosophy, and then we have hermeneutics, postmodern philosophy, then we have deconstructive methods. So, innumerable methods have developed in the 20th century Western philosophical tradition. So this we can say is a innovative method of doing philosophy in the West. In other words, one can say in the contemporary Western philosophical tradition, we have derived some new methods of doing philosophy. What does this mean? This means that philosophical problems are one and the same, but they are seen from different perspective. This is what had happened in the 20th century and also in the 21st century. So, keeping this in mind, I would like to see some of the Western philosophical methods which were developed in the 19th and 20th century, and whether we can see such an approach in Indian philosophical tradition. Because quite often it is said, of course, wrongly it is said, that Indian philosophical tradition is moksha oriented, and it is a concern for otherworldly. All kinds of invalid criticisms have been leveled against Indian philosophical tradition. But the critics, if they observe Indian philosophy or if they study Indian philosophical tradition closely, they would agree that the so-called novel methods which have been developed in the West is very much present in Indian philosophical tradition. The thing is, we must have an open mind to look at our own tradition. At the same time, I always remember the fact that we have to be very cautious in the sense we should not be carried away by the Western philosophical methods. In fact, I would remember the great writings of K.C. Bhattacharya, his well-known article Swaraj in Ideas, wherein he has shown that how we must be culturally rooted, that cannot be separated from us. So this method of borrowing some concepts is well and good according to K.C. Bhattacharya, but at the same time, we should not be simply carried away by the Western methodology. And if you are looking at Indian philosophical methods, we have to see how far we can adopt the methods which were developed by the West could be accommodated in Indian philosophical tradition. This is very much essential. So, for example, we are talking about the method of analysis. When analytic philosophy emerged as a very important school of thought in the Western tradition, due to the contribution made by Bertrand Russell, Wittgenstein, and others, philosophers thought that this method is something novel. Of course, this is a very novel method, but how do we define analysis, for example? One can define analysis by saying it is a way of grouping together the heterogeneous philosophies interested in analyzing the linguistic or conceptual units. But the uniqueness of Indian analytic method is something very interesting. For example, if somebody could read Purva Mimamsa tradition, especially Prabhakara and Bhatta Mimamsaka, one can see how the analytical tools were applied in Indian tradition. I would like to quote one example. With regard to sentence meaning, we have developed two beautiful theories. One is Anvitabhitanavada and other is Abhitanvayavada. So if you know the uniqueness of Indian philosophical tradition, then you would appreciate the method of analysis that is practiced in Indian philosophy. So analysis or the analytic way of doing philosophy is not the privilege of the Western philosophers alone. So in fact, I would say it is not the alien method for us. It is very much available in Indian philosophical tradition. So what I'm trying to say in short is the analytical method, or we can say the dialectical method, is very much present in Indian philosophical tradition. For example, in Shankara's writing, especially in his commentary on the Brahma Sutra, we can see the best way of analysis of language. In fact, I always remember with gratitude the great contribution made by late Professor Ganesh Mishra. He was the first, as far as I know, to apply the methodology of the West, especially in analytical tradition, to see Sankara from a different perspective. In fact, he very boldly argues in his very small book, Shankara Advaita, The Methods and Limits, wherein he talks about how Shankara could be considered as a linguistic philosopher and analytical philosopher. This is an eye opener for many of our Indian thinkers. In fact, I worked on a theme or topic, Shankara and Wittgenstein on the problem of meaning, for my PhD thesis. And I was very much influenced by this book of Professor Ganesh Mishra, because it has got a lot of beautiful insights which each and every student of philosophy should read. In fact, late Professor Chachananda Murthy, when I met him, he was UGC vice chairman at that time. I met him in Delhi. At that time, I was a research scholar. So he was asking me about my PhD topic. When I told about this topic of mine, the first question he asked me was, have you read Ganesh Mishra? Because Ganesh Mishra is such a wonderful scholar, a great philosopher who has influenced me a lot till now. because the method of analysis which is practiced and applied to Advaita is something remarkable. And such methods are very much important in the context of both Indian and Western philosophical tradition. I was quoting Shankara's commentary on the Brahma Sutra. In Shankara's commentary to the Brahma Sutra, we find the best analysis of language. In fact, Shankara points out 6 mark, that is Sadlinga, of the purport of the text. He says there are 6 points, 6 marks. One is the harmony of the initial and the concluding passages. That is how the initial passage and the concluding passage should be conjoined together, that harmony. And secondly, there is a need for repetition. This is also important. And third aspect is novelty, and fourth is fruitfulness, and fifth is glorification of the passages or condemnation of depreciatory passages, and intelligibility in the light of reasoning. These are 6 sadlingas which Shankara mentions with regard to the purport, and this is what is emphasized in the method of analysis in Indian philosophical tradition. And also in Indian philosophical tradition, we have the method of Adhyaropa and Apavada, and also the method of Lakshana, because in the Upanishads, Isha Upanishads says that moves, that does not move. That is far out, that is very near. That is inside all, that is outside all. Now, if you look at this passage, a person who has no philosophical background would think that there is a contradictory passage. Because in the initial stage, we said that moves, that does not move. So there appears to be a contradiction between these 2 passages. But Shankara would say that this the apparent contradiction has to be transcended. So the method of analysis, of course, there are other ways of understanding this analysis. In fact, Advaita talks about 5 characteristics which are necessary in order to identify the object of experience. For example, they talk about existence, manifestation, lovability, name, and form. So this kind of analysis is something very much important while doing any philosophical discourse. And also, we should see the background in which Indian philosophy has emerged. There is always a renewal of Indian philosophy through Renaissance. Because first we have the Upanishads, the Vedas and the Upanishads, that's the first period. And secondly, we have the Bhakti movement. And third is the modern Renaissance. This is how Indian philosophy is built. And another important aspect which we have to take into account when we are talking about Indian philosophical tradition is the close connection that exists between tradition and modernity. That is vibrant. Indian philosophy is always vibrant in spite of its age, and modern in spite of its antiquity. So it is vibrant, and also it has the antiquity. So Indian philosophy always talks about human values, the tradition and culture, and also Indian philosophy is always relevant. And when we talk about the modernity in Indian philosophy, we should remember the fact modernity is that which is an important factor which runs through the history of Indian philosophy. That is, from ancient to, what I'm trying to say is, from ancient to modern, you can see that there is a continuity. So in Indian philosophical tradition, there is always a beautiful dialogue which we can find in the Upanishads, and also there is a dialectic in the Indian philosophical tradition. So the method which is practiced in Upanishadic tradition is something remarkable. For the main reason, it talks about the dialectical method. And also in Indian philosophical tradition, an analysis has been made with regard to the 3 important concepts: language, thought, and reality. These 3 things are closely interrelated in Indian tradition. So the analytical method that is practiced in Indian philosophical tradition is something novel, and the contribution made by thinkers like B.K. Matila or Jayan Mohanty or Ganeshwar Mishra or Chachidananda Murthy, Professor R. Balasubramaniam. These are the great scholars who could see Indian tradition in a different perspective, so that the so-called analysis or the analytical method, which is available in Western philosophical tradition, can be seen in Indian philosophical tradition too. Then another important point which I would like to discuss with you is the method that we find in Western tradition is the 20th century development is hermeneutics and also deconstruction. These are the two very important philosophical methods. Of course, with regard to deconstruction, we should avoid the word method. I'll tell you the reason later. But for discussion's sake, there is nothing wrong in defining deconstruction as a method. Now, these two, that is hermeneutics as well as deconstruction, when this has emerged as a very important ways of doing philosophy in the West, philosophers throughout the globe started to appreciate the methodology. Of course, the methodology is wonderful, no doubt. But I always feel that this method is also not a novel to Indian tradition. Because Indian philosophy, because when we talk about hermeneutics, we should remember using Gadamer's, Hans George Gadamer's methodology. I would say that hermeneutics has three components. One is tradition, second is understanding and interpretation, third is language. These are the core elements of hermeneutics according to Gadamer. Now look at Indian philosophical tradition. We have all these three aspects. For example, we talk about tradition, that is, we are trying to read a particular text by using our own tradition. And secondly, we have defined what is a text, because Indian philosophers have made a distinction between a text from a non-text, and they also argued anything can be a text. Like the Westerners, we can also say that anything can be a text. Text is not something which is written and which is printed. A text can be a beautiful painting. A text can be a beautiful mountain. A nice poem. A beautiful poem can be a text. A cinema can be a text. So it all depends on how you view or how you apply the word text. And different methods of philosophizing have been followed in Indian tradition. In Western tradition, when you talk about hermeneutics, we start with thinkers like Schleiermacher, Dilthey, Heidegger, Gadamer, and others, Ricker, Habermas. It goes like this. But here I would like to quote the famous statement of Dilthey and Heidegger. And Dilthey said, "There is no presuppositionless understanding. There is no presuppositionless understanding." This means always there is a presupposition which is operating in you, right? This helps you to understand the text. Because all of a sudden we cannot give up our own tradition. So the tradition plays a very important role. So it is very difficult for us to throw away the presupposition on which a particular system is built. And Heidegger's statement is also very interesting. He says all interpretation is grounded in a foresight or a foreconception, F-O-R-E, a foreconception, which means he is also trying to support the Dilthey's view that there is a presupposition, which means a foresight or a foreconception is always interacting with you in all your interpretation. So, what is important is in the hermeneutical tradition, the historicity is very important. The tradition is important. The community is important because all these three play a dominant role in shaping the meaning of the text. So in addition to that, there is also the whole part relation. The whole part relation means that when you are reading the text, it is not possible for you to understand the meaning of the text by reading a particular passage of it. In fact, Gadamer gives a very beautiful example. He says, if I want to read a particular paragraph from a book, I must know the meaning of the individual sentences. Not only that, I must also know the basic meaning of each and every word. So each and every word is related to the sentence, and sentence once again is related to the particular context or a paragraph. So this is what we call the hermeneutic. This is what we call the whole and part relation. The whole cannot be known without the parts, and vice versa. And when we are reading the Upanishadic text, for example, I always feel that there is a whole part relation. When you are reading a particular Upanishad, for example, Mundaka or Mandukya, it is very much essential for us to see, for us to apply the whole part relation so that the entire meaning can be known. So the hermeneutical tradition, when it has developed as important method of doing philosophy in the West, in the 19th and 20th century, in the Western tradition, philosophers began to praise the methodology that is involved in hermeneutic because it gives me a new way of reading the text. There is no particular way by which one can read the text. There is always what is known as the multiple reading of the text. A text is open-ended, and also a text expects you to talk. I mean, you here means the reader or the listener has the liberty to say something about the text. It is not somebody has given the text and simply I have to take the commentary or the meaning which is implicit in the text. So the hermeneutical tradition gives a chance for the commentator or the reader to interpret the text in his own way. It does not mean that he can interpret the text according to his own convenience. It is not possible at all because tradition plays a very important role. Historicity, culture, all this play an important role. So the meaning is known. So the hermeneutical tradition, which is very much familiar in the Western tradition during the 19th and 20th century, is not something new to us because if you read the Prasthanatraya, in the interpretation of the Prasthanatraya, you can see how one has applied, or our traditional scholars or the great acharyas like Shankara, Ramanuja, and Madhva have applied the hermeneutical method to the text. So this commentary which they have given to the text is nothing but the hermeneutical methodology which they have applied. And a result of that, we could have three major systems of Vedanta: Advaita, Vishtadvaita, and Dvaita. So this means what I'm trying to say in short is that the hermeneutical, the so-called hermeneutical tradition is also not new to Indian tradition. The thing is, it is very much present in Indian tradition. And also, I would like to discuss with you another important concept because one of the prior to that, I was talking about deconstruction. Now, in Indian philosophical tradition, we are talking about deconstructing the text. Uh, of course, I think you know the meaning of the deconstruction. De-hyphen construction. So what has been constructed is deconstructed. So this means every text can be deconstructed. This means in the philosophical tradition, the entire schools of thought, different schools of thought have constructed one school after the other, right? So many schools have been constructed. But in all this construction, there is one basic flaw. What is that? If we think that there is one basic principle or nucleus principle, and all other concepts go around that. Now, Derrida gives the example of the Greek philosophy, especially he says when we talk about consciousness or being, that becomes the center. So consciousness is the center, or being is the center, and all other concepts go around that. So we have been focusing from the time of Plato onwards, we have been focusing on the center. Now, Derrida very boldly says there is no such center. There is no such a fixed point. Now, what is wrong with that? Why you should demolish that? Now, there is nothing wrong in having a center. Now, what we do is once you construct a center, you try to say that all other concepts which go around are subordinate to that. That is the reason why we always make the bipolar concepts. So if we have mind, then we have, if you have body, then we talk about mind. If you are having speaking, then we have writing. We have male, then we have female. If we have nature, then we have culture. So bipolar concepts have been constructed, and what happens is once you construct this bipolar concepts, you try to argue that one is superior than the other. For example, we say that mind is more important than body. Similarly, we try to say that writing is more important. Writing is more important than speech. So once we construct this bipolar concepts, you try to say that one is superior over the other, one is better than the other. So now Derrida would deconstruct this method of doing philosophy, and he wants to tell us every philosophy that is constructed in Western tradition has to be deconstructed. So by using this method, he wants to demolish the existing forms of philosophizing. There are various forms of philosophizing, and he wanted to deconstruct. And in Indian philosophical tradition, we have adopted this technique, especially in Advaita Vedanta, of course, in other systems of Vedanta also. So this method of deconstruction is also, in fact, long back, Professor H.G. Coward has written a very beautiful book, a wonderful book, comparing Indian philosophy with Derrida's deconstructive methodology. So what I'm trying to say is that this method of deconstruction, either method of deconstruction or hermeneutics, is very much present in Indian philosophical tradition. Then I'll come to another important method, which is very fascinating, which has been celebrated by the West, that is the phenomenology. The phenomenological method is something very much popular in Indian philosophical tradition. Sorry, Western philosophical tradition. Now, if you closely observe Indian philosophy or tradition, its tradition, you can develop or you can see the Indian phenomenology, which is very much implicit in the method, especially in the writings of Shankara or Ramanuja. You can see how Indian philosophers have adopted the technique of Indian phenomenology. Now, how do we explain that? The phenomenological method explains the principle of consciousness in a philosophical way. It is associated with others. Others means other concepts like consciousness, experience, feeling, sensations, qualia, subjective understanding, introspection, reflection, etc. In fact, in Western tradition, they have developed two modes of understanding phenomenology. One is the first person phenomenology, or seeing phenomenology from the first person perspective. And the second is the third person perspective. The third person perspective is very important. For example, Daniel Dennett, in his well-known book Consciousness Explained, has elaborately discussed this third person perspective. Now, what is the distinction? With regard to the first person perspective, it is said that it is directly connected to one's own experience. Advaita gives a very beautiful understanding of this first person phenomenology. Then, with regard to third person phenomenology, I would say that this approach or this methodology is very much present in Buddhism. So, the so-called phenomenological method which we have been practicing in Western tradition is very much present in Indian tradition too. In fact, there are scholars like Professor R. Balasubramaniam who argue that Advaita could be considered as a transcendental phenomenology. And also, Professor Mohanty also had a very detailed discussion in many of his writings about Indian phenomenology. One important concept that is discussed in phenomenology, especially by Husserl, is the intentionality of consciousness. The intentionality of consciousness is something very much important for the phenomenologists, because for them there is always consciousness of. This of relation is related, very important, because things are always related. When we are talking about some object or other, this of relation is playing a very important role. Now, look at the methodology that is practiced in Indian tradition. If you go to Shankara Advaita, Shankara's beautiful explanation is very much available in his understanding or in his commentary to Mandukya Upanishad. Now, in Mandukya Upanishad, all of us know we come across three states of experience wherein consciousness play a role. Whether it is waking stage or dream or deep sleep stage, consciousness is operating. So this means for all empirical perspective on all empirical sphere, consciousness is operating. In waking stage, it is very clear because I am able to see in the screen Professor Mahapatra. So waking experience is fine. Then in dream also I have consciousness because I see some ghost in my dream. So I wake up and say that I saw a ghost in my dream. So consciousness is operating. This is how the Advaitins would argue. Then even in deep sleep, the consciousness is operating according to the Advaita. Now, once you wake up from your deep sleep stage, you try to say, oh, I slept like a log. I don't know what happened. So you are able to recollect that. So Shankara would say that it is very important to note that in deep sleep stage also consciousness is operating. So in all three states of experience, consciousness is vibrant and it is operating. And the Western phenomenologists have no quarrel with that. It's fine. But what is interesting is that in Indian tradition, we go beyond that. We go to Turiya stage, for example. In Turiya stage, there is no object to be perceived. Right? It is pure consciousness stage where objects are not prevalent. But in spite of that, the consciousness which you have at Turiya is pure consciousness. Now look at the Western methodology. They say this off relation, off relation, is very much essential because object must exist. So we can say in empirical phenomenology, right, or in the empirical sphere, consciousness is fine. So where the object is present. But here is a case that is the Advaitic interpretation where there cannot be any object. In spite of that, there is consciousness, a pure consciousness. Now, this Professor R. Balasubramaniam would say is the uniqueness of Indian philosophical tradition, especially Advaita Vedanta. So, the intentionality of consciousness, which has been discussed in phenomenology, especially by Husserl and others, can be seen in Indian methodology or Indian phenomenology, especially in Advaita. And if you apply Ramanuja's philosophy, then you can say that there are close affinities that exist between Ramanuja and Husserl. So what I'm trying to say is that the phenomenological method is also not new to us. But we must understand the fact that in Indian philosophical tradition, especially in Advaita, we make a distinction between a foundational consciousness, right, and a functional consciousness. This has been very beautifully explained by Professor Balasubramanian's reading of Naishkarmi Siddhi, wherein he says that the foundational consciousness is the basis. It is pure consciousness, whereas the functional consciousness is a consciousness which is operative in your day-to-day experience. It is very much relevant. It is very much acceptable, but this is not the end of the matter. This is what the Indian philosophers would say. There is always a method of analysis which we have to do in the case of Indian philosophy, so that the nuances of Indian philosophy can be known. So what I'm trying to say in short is that the 20th century philosophy in the West made a tremendous impact. Of course, all the important schools of philosophy in the West are important, whether it is rationalism or empiricism or any other philosophical methods developed by the West is very important. But especially in the contemporary Western philosophy, these methods give a new direction to philosophical discourse. Whether it is existentialism or phenomenology or postmodernism, they gave a new way of understanding the philosophical text as well as the philosophical concepts. But all these methods are very much present in Indian philosophical tradition. So, what we have to do is, it is high time for us to reread our Indian philosophical tradition. It is most of the time we try to ignore this fact, and most of the time we try to celebrate the metaphysical concepts. Of course, it's very important. I don't deny that. I don't underestimate the metaphysical concepts in Indian philosophy, but look at the way in which they've analyzed the philosophical problems. You look at thinkers like Prabhakara Bhatta Prabhakara or Bhatta Mimamsa, who they have given a new direction to philosophical discourse. And also some of the problems that the Western philosophers face with regard to philosophy has been easily tackled by Indian philosophy. So it is not that I am simply celebrating Indian philosophy. I give enough reasons for that. I would always say that it is a need of the hour for an Indian philosopher or a student of Indian philosophy to go through the text carefully, so that we can understand the nuances of Indian philosophy. Otherwise, we would be simply saying that Indian philosophy is great. Of course, it is great. But in what way it is great? That has to be explained to the Western mind, because sometimes it is considered as something otherworldly or moksha oriented. All these concepts have no meaning at this juncture. So, and moreover, we must give up the idea that Indian philosophy is inferior to Western philosophy. And also, there is no need for us to celebrate Western philosophy all the time. Of course, we can borrow the concept from the West, but try to apply that to Indian philosophical tradition. And if it is not acceptable, we must be ready to reject it. And here I would like to quote one famous statement of late Professor Suresh Chandra, while talking about Indian philosophers, that means philosophers in India, that means, he says that in India we can classify philosophers into three groups. The first group of philosophers who write only in Sanskrit. They are very great pandits, right? Their scholarship is something remarkable, no doubt. But unfortunately, we are unable to read them because we lack the knowledge of Sanskrit. All of us may not have the capacity to understand their way of explanation. So, though the Sanskrit Pandits have made a tremendous contribution to Indian philosophy, we are unable to make use of their scholarship. This is the first group of philosophers, according to Suresh Sudra. Then the second group of philosophers, he says, are philosophers in India who write only on Western philosophy. Only on Western philosophy. That is, those philosophers, I mean, though the philosophers are born in India, they write only on Western philosophy. And Suresh Chandra very beautifully says that those who write on Western philosophy are not recognized in the West. Please note that. They are not recognized. There are exceptions. There are some exceptions. Jail Mehta is an exception. Professor J.N. Mohanty is an exception. There are a few exceptions. B.K. Matilal is an exception. So some of the exceptions are there. But normally, when we write on Western philosophy, they are not ready to recognize us. In fact, this has happened to me also in one of the seminars. Somebody asked me, the one German philosopher by name Edward Herring, he asked me the question whether I know German language. I said, I don't know. Then he said, you are not competent to work on Wittgenstein. I said, why? He said, because you are not rooted in our tradition, German tradition. So the cultural bias is something which is very much present in Western mind. The European domination is always there. So the second point of Suresh Chandra is well taken, that those who write on Western, purely on Western philosophy is not all recognized in the West. And the third group of philosophers, according to Suresh Chandra, is those who write in Indian philosophy or on Indian philosophy by using some of the methods which are very much available in the West. What do? They apply the Western techniques to Indian philosophical tradition to show the richness of our Indian tradition. Otherwise, we simply will be saying that Indian philosophy is great. But in what way, in which way it is great, that we have to tell the Westerns. So the third group of philosophers, according to Suresh Chandra, are those who really contribute for the development of Indian philosophical tradition. I think Professor Suresh Chandra is very right, because we need the Western methods, but at the same time, we should not be carried away by the Western philosophy or the Western philosophical method. Wherever necessary, we can apply that to Indian tradition, and we can say that these are some of the limitations of your method. Your method means the Western method. One example I'll close. When Gettier wrote the 2.5-page article, the distinction between knowledge and belief is justified true belief. Knowledge is a small article which was written by Gettier, and it has provoked many philosophers in the West. They have been writing on this. Even now, that dialogue is going on, but they are unable to solve this problem. But in Indian tradition, long back, Gangisa has made a similar approach, and he, to some extent, tried to solve this problem. So what I'm trying to say is the so-called the Western philosophical methods are very much present in India. Fine. And the only thing is we have to read and reread the text, which I think is very much essential in order to preserve the beauty of Indian philosophy, or in order to preserve the tradition of Indian philosophy. So with this, I would like to close, because I know Professor Mahapatra is a very well-known scholar, and I would be happy to receive his critical comments, of course, so that I can improve myself. So with these words, I thank the philosophy family for this wonderful opportunity, and I am very happy to participate in this third annual year function, because we are going to soon release the third volume, and the contribution of the three Murtis, Maharana, then Om Narayan Rao, and then Das. They're, I mean, doing excellent service to philosophy. And we have to remember the fact that philosophy survives because of such efforts. And we have to congratulate them. We have to support them in all possible ways so that they will continue that this, this program continuously, and we all support them, and I wish them all success. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your nice lecture and also for your kind words for philosophy family. Thank you so much. Now I request Professor Prafulla Mahapatra, sir, to have his observations. May I request Professor Mahapatra, sir? Please, sir, your observations. Prafulla, sir, please.
Can you speak to the mic, sir? Unmute yourself. Mahanta sir, kindly unmute yourself.
Prafulla, sir,
Unmute yourself, Professor Mahanta sir, Prafulla Mahanta sir. Unmute yourself. You are still muted.
Prafulla, sir, please unmute, sir. I'm not able to see Prafulla, sir. Actually, he's not seen on the screen. Are you able to see Prafulla Mahapatra, sir, on the screen?
Yes. Sir is there. Sir is there. Sir, please unmute कर दियंतु.
Sir,
Sir,
please
please
unmute your
unmute.
microphone, sir. Prafulla, sir.
Sir,
I'm
please
not able to
touch.
see Prafulla, sir.
Sir, please touch on the speaker.
Kindly unmute, sir. Your speaker is not. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, sir. Now fine. Sir,
Now
please, sir. Your words.
can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're audible, sir. Audible and visible, both, sir.
Okay. Now I was listening very carefully to the speaker, Professor PANNEERSELVAM. He had he has actually pointed out a lot of things. First point is that he was stressing on the commonality between Indian and Western philosophy. That is very natural because philosophy, as it is, has a method which is not very typical of Western and Eastern. It is a method which is common to both. That is one thing. The other thing is the culture. You rightly said, Professor PANNEERSELVAM, that culture has a lot of important role to play on your on what you want to say on different things. You are, for example, you are talking about consciousness. Now here, it is true that both in Indian philosophy and in Western philosophy, consciousness as it is distinct from consciousness of something. Only when you talk of consciousness of something, then that makes good sense. But consciousness as it is does not make much sense. Ganeshwar Mishra, and also you didn't mention this, but perhaps you forgot him, Ganeshwar Mishra and Rajendra Prasad, both of them in their writings have drawn our attention to the philosophical method that is common to both Western and Eastern philosophy. Then what is common again is analysis or analytic method. This is something which you see applied in both Western philosophy and Eastern philosophy. For example, let us take the case of it is generally assumed that Indian philosophy is otherworldly, that it is moksha oriented. Now, this is something which is, to me, it happens to be a kind of general oversimplification. Because in Indian philosophy, you find that that you not only find that universality is always there. There is also in our Sankhya tradition, for example, in the Nyaya tradition, for example, we simply do not insist on universality. Or we do not insist on monism. There are pluralism in Sankhya. There are also dualism in different schools of philosophy. Therefore, what is important, and you have rightly tried, you were trying to emphasize on that. What is important is you have to find out the that universality or monism, they are not always present in, because pluralism is also has been an important element in Indian philosophy, Sankhya pluralism, isn't it? And that is also
Respected the chief guest of the occasion, Professor Professor Mahapatra sir, our teacher and teachers, the chief speaker of today's occasion, Professor S. PANNEERSELVAM sir, esteemed dignitaries, lawn participants, Professor Pramod Kumar Das, the admin and host of Philosophy family, our relative, Dr. Sri Rao. Today, it's my pride privilege to read out the annual report of third annual meet of Philosophy family on virtual mode. But before reading out the annual report, I'm honored to extend my gratitude to all the dignitaries to be with us on this August occasion. Friends, you know, Philosophy Family is a private academic forum which took birth on 20th July 2020 with a virtual mode of deliberation and discussion about the seminal topics and issues relevant to social life and crisis during the corona pandemics. Philosophy Family is an academic platform which ensures the involvement of all the scholars and intellectuals, irrespective of their differences, both for our country and abroad. The aim of this forum is to encourage and inspire the young generation for philosophical research and reflection, and for developing an attitude of learning from learned research persons of our country and abroad. The present generation is enriched with all resources except human resources. Philosophy family aims at evolving and evaluating human resources from the ground level, giving opportunity to fresh students and research scholars and making them engaged in various type of academic activities like presenting papers, delivering talks, moderating sessions, and hosting different kinds of academic events. Philosophy family invites reputed speakers across the country and abroad to deliver talks and subsequently contribute papers for the publication in our edited books. Philosophy family has its own publication which publishes the articles from the learned professors as well as the brilliant research scholars. And to its credit, it has published three edited books, namely Philosophical Perspective in 2021, Philosophical Reflection in 2020, and the Philosophical Thinking in 2023, which is going to be open now. Our esteemed editor, Dr. K. Omnan Rao, takes meticulous care for editing the articles, for which we have no words to express our deep sense of gratitude to him. He is the man who is very humble in personal life and very serious in academic pursuit. And because of this, it takes a lot of pain to moderate all the most of sessions of Philosophy family and edit the scripts of our publication. Philosophy family has been organized by myself, Dr. K. Marwana, Dr. K. Omnan Rao, and Pramod Kumar Das. Philosophy family respects the teamwork but believes in individual spirit. Anyone's decision is enough here, and anyone's presence is also enough. No one interferes with a decision if it is initiated by any one of us. Anyone who is present can manage all the duties like coordinating, moderating, and hosting. So this is the beauty and ability of the individual spirit of organizing an academic forum like Philosophy Family. This year, Philosophy Family has hosted 76 webinar programs inviting reputed speakers and research persons from different universities and colleges across the country and abroad. In the 3 years from 2020 to 2023, Philosophy Family organized 441 webinars in which many young scholars got opportunity to present their papers and excel themselves as extempore speakers. Philosophy family has conducted serious serious thinking and philosophical reflection. It has it has conducted the series of classes for SSB candidates for the recruitment of lectures in different colleges by Professor Pramod Kumar Das, Dr. K. Omanan Rao, and Dr. Anup Rai. And we have pleasure to note that many candidates beyond expectation have qualified the exams of this recruitment. We extend our congratulations to them. Philosophy Family has its own YouTube channel in which all the webinar programs have been uploaded for public view without exception. We acknowledge the regular presence of Dr. Ranjit Gosar, Dr. Srinivasan K. Iyer, and Madam Shravani Mishra, and others who have given their valuable time for Philosophy Family being present in almost all webinar programs. We acknowledge the contribution of Dr. Srinivasan K. Iyer, who has introduced many great speakers from both Indian and foreign universities in Philosophy Family. We offer our gratitude to him. We are grateful to all our esteemed speakers for delivering beautiful talks and reflective talks and contributing papers for the publication. It is not possible to name the names of all as the number exceeds to 100 and more. And we are grateful to all of them. And particularly, we are grateful to Professor Pramod Kumar Das, the admin, host, and convener of Philosophy Family, Dr. K. Omnan Rao, the regular moderator of Philosophy Family, and others. We can we can also extend our gratitude to many others who are associated with us. And Philosophy family monitored all the events with a good spirit, and to credit, Professor Pramod Kumar Das has already delivered 125 talks in Philosophy family during the last 3 years, and we are grateful to Professor Pramod Kumar Das, the main architect of Philosophy family, and who has taken a much of pain to to organize and to connect people to strengthen the philosophical activity, to strengthen the academic activities of Philosophy family. And Professor Pramod Kumar Das has taken the pain to upload all the talks in YouTube for public view. Dr. Chandra Maharana has coordinated all the programs of Philosophy family on the screen, which is a matter of great concern for academic pursuit. We are grateful to the subscribers of our publication of the edited book, Philosophical Thinking, Professor Pramod Kumar Das, Dr. Chandra Maharana, and Dr. K. Umanan Rao, Dr. Dhanishwar Sahu, Dr. Anup Rai sir, Dr. Indira ji, and Madam Sravani Misra for their financial support in publishing the edited book. So we extend our gratitude to all the teachers of philosophy for contributing for the cause of philosophy. We are grateful to all the participants who have shown their deep concern for academic discussion with a strong conviction that education is learning from each other. With this, I would like to extend my gratitude to all the members of Philosophy family for their cooperation, for their philosophical engagement throughout the year. Thanks so much. Over to Dr. Rao.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Maharana, for reading out the report. Now it is time for the release of the third publication of Philosophy family entitled Philosophical Thinking. May I request Professor Prafulla Mahapatra sir, Professor Panneerselvam sir, and also request our admin, Professor Pramod Kumar Das, and our moderator, Dr. Chandra Maharana, to release this book. Because we have other seminar professors, but we could not make this book available to all. Even I got the book in the last moment. Just I arrived at 6:35 at home, and then I started this webinar. So I also collected the book from the bus at 6:35 p.m. this evening. So we could not make make this book available to all. But in the meantime, we'll be making available. But I request now Professor Prafulla Mahapatra sir, Professor Panneerselvam sir, Pramod Dev sir, and Kailash Mana sir to release the book. Please, sir. Professor Prafulla Mahapatra sir, if you have the book, sir, kindly show it on the screen. We could not send the book to Panneerselvam sir, but please, sir, please make yourself available on the screen, sir. Panneerselvam sir. Panneerselvam sir, please make yourself available on the screen.
Yeah. I'm just showing the book in my.
Okay.
Okay.
I got the book from the bus right now, and I'm trying to show both the front and the back page. Okay.
Oh, great.
Okay. Now,
Very nice.
Thank you, professors, for the release of the book. One thing let me say, this book is the best one, I say, because in the terms of get up, it is a lightweighted book, very light, like the foreign publication, very lightweighted. Okay, and one more thing, its get up is also very nice. And we are really happy that we could do this by the help of our coordinator, Dr. Kailash Mahana, who got a very now earlier we used to publish our as Philosophy family publication, but this time we have got a publisher, and the name of the publisher is Aditya Bharat Katak. Now, not only that we can circulate this with the members, then he is a publisher, he can also circulate at his own Okay, he has that liberty. So now this book will have a lot of circulation, and in the coming time, our publication will be having a lot of circulation. So, and let me tell one more thing. We have in the back page, we have the blessings from Professor Prafulla Mahapatra sir, Professor Saroj Kumar Mahanti sir, Professor S.C. Panigrai sir, Professor Dr. Dayanandi Satpathy sir, Dr. Ranjit Ghosh sir, and Dr. Kailash Chandra Das sir. Now that the book is released, and we'll try to make this book available to the members as soon as possible. Now it's time for requesting the participants to have their views. But to start with, every Sunday, if I don't find anybody, I definitely find Dr. Ranjit Ghosh sir. He's a man who is present every Sunday, except when he's traveling, he doesn't appear. Otherwise, he's always there. He initiates the discussion, then we carry on. We learn a lot from him. So to start with, may I request Dr. Ranjit Ghosh sir to have some words, his blessings for philosophy family. May I request Ranjit Ghosh sir to have his words for the philosophy family. Please, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Rao. I will definitely expect from others to hear about the success of our philosophy family. But I have only 2-3 sentences I will speak. That philosophy family has done yeoman service by bringing an online pan-Indian platform by the philosophers, of the philosophers, and for the philosophers. And all kudos go to the 3 musketeers, Pramod Das, Palas Maharana, and Narayan Rao. Long live philosophical reflection. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. May I request Professor Srinivasa Krishnamurthy, sir, because he's a man who has introduced many people to this platform. May I request you to have your words, sir?
Good evening, and thank you very much for the nice opportunity. Sir, am I audible here?
Yes, sir, you're audible, sir.
Okay. As we are celebrating the 3rd annual day celebrations of the philosophy family, I am deeply moved, and I am thankful to Dr. Kailash Chandra Maharana, who paid rich encomiums about me. I would like to assure you that I would like to be a catalyst without expecting the fruit of action. And that is my quality. I would continue to do such activities in future also. And I am very happy to say that I have inducted more than 4 members in this month itself. So it shows the amount of interest that I have with the philosophy family to spread its wing, fly, and that will be our motto. And I that the next 10 years it will be landing on a different platform when the admins will be making some membership fee and also pay some honorarium to the speakers. This is what I foresee here. And in fact, I have been associated with this philosophy family for the last couple of years, and I have acquired an in-depth knowledge relating to Western philosophy as well as Eastern philosophy and others, etc. In fact, I myself have given some 8 speeches, particularly relating to Sankhya philosophy, in which I am deeply interested. And my next topic would be about Prasamkhyana of Sri Adi Shankara and Patanjali Yoga, comparative analysis. And this gives an immense opportunity for others also to understand about the fact that we have been missing all these days. And I am thankful for that. And I also, while paying rich encomiums, I have certain points to highlight, though I am not going to accuse anybody here, but it is my, innate pleasure to request them to encourage people like me so that we can give much more thoughts and give some good lectures and understand from others also. Out of the 200 webinars since couple of years, I have attended more than 180 webinars, and in fact, I am really happy about it. And this is what I expect from others also to, be present in all these, webinars being conducted with a lot of strain and pain by the promoters, admin, Professor Dr. Pramod Das and Dr. Om Narayan Rao and Kailash Chandra Maharana. And rightly pointed out by Sri Professor Dr. Om Narayan Rao that Professor Ranjit Ghosh has been present every week after week. And I've been listening to him. And he used to ask some interesting questions which induces an in-depth knowledge and makes me to think from many other angles. Finally, I foresee a greater takeoff and finding the right place for the philosophy family. And also, the book has been published and it's going to be circulated for all the members as well as to the public. I wish the philosophy family all the very best in all their endeavors, and I thank you very much for the nice opportunity given to me. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your kind words. May I request Alok Tendon, sir? Please, sir. Alok Tendon, sir. Sir, please.
Okay, thank you very much. I am connecting after a break because of some of my health issues. But I must congratulate all the three musketeers for doing a wonderful job of running philosophy family for 3 years continuously. It is a difficult task. It requires a lot of hard work, patience, continuity, and support, teamwork. So I must congratulate you, and you have every right to celebrate this occasion for the third time. But when we celebrate, we must also look forward to the challenges in future. And for that, I would like to mention one or two things which could be accommodated so that the participation of listeners is not decreased, which somehow or other I have witnessed. And number two, we have found of late some people complaining that this philosophy family is more tilted towards a particular view of Indian philosophy. It may not be very correct, but my point is that in the West, with the coming of science and enlightenment, the whole scenario changed. Here we are not giving that much of importance to science and scientific philosophy. So the whole endeavor becomes a lot of past oriented. We go on interpreting the text of Gita, Upanishads and all that, but nothing new comes out of it. It can come out, something new may come out. As Professor PANNEERSELVAM has pointed out, if we try to apply these new, or may not be very new, the Western methods to the Indian philosophical understanding. What I want more in the coming year is the subject of social, political, ethical, and moral philosophy. The challenges we face in the 21st century, which are very, very much important and which must be given a place on this platform so that it can be a very vibrant philosophical exercise, and more young people may like to be associated with it. With these words, I just want to again congratulate all of the team members and also my best wishes for future. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your suggestions, sir. And we'll definitely take care of the things that you have pointed out. And this is where, yes, we need to improve, and we'll be in touch with you, sir, to chalk out certain areas where we can really invite people, those who are really working on that area, and so that we can really do things the areas that you have pointed, especially in the light of the advancements in science and technology and all. So thank you so much for your suggestions. We'll be taking care of this in the days to come. Thank you so much. Now I request Dr. Anuruddh Panda sir. Anuruddh Panda sir, please, few words, sir. This will.
Thank you very much, Professor Rao, and namaskar to everybody. Really, I'm very happy that we have completed 3 years, and I learned many things from this webinar because during my service career, I retired. I've served for 37 years, but I taught only 10 students during my career, to degree students. Because of the policy of the government, when I was reading in BJP college in 77 and in GM college, we are about 7 students in BJP and 3 students in GM college Sambalpur. So during my career, I only taught 10 students and I have not much experience to teach in degree classes. So I am very much grateful that I have learned many things from the webinar. But unfortunately, when I settled in Bangalore, I am not getting time to attend the webinar because of my several works, and I'm traveling mm, different places after my retirement. Really, I'm grateful to the philosophy family, and it is one of the unique in the country that w- continuously 3 years we are listening in every Sunday. It is really marvelous, unique. Thank you very much. And I think it will continue. And another one suggestion, I have marked that only retired persons are attending almost all webinars, but your young scholars are not coming, though it will very much helpful to them during their teaching period. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Rightly pointed, sir. Actually, philosophy family has really worked hard so that the young scholars who are appearing for SSP examination and OPSC examination, they would qualify, and we have organized webinars so that the doubts could be cleared. And with all sincere efforts, we have done this, and we have even given our phone numbers. We are free wherever you find problems. We are there to, as much as possible, we will be clearing your doubts. But soon they got into their jobs, nobody is attending, or very few are attending. So actually, they should know the thing that you have pointed is really true. They should have attended, because I don't say that we have done a lot, but at least it is a platform to learn, and they are new to the professions, and definitely this is a stage where they can learn. And when senior professors are giving valuable thoughts, and easily they can learn a lot of things, but they are not attending. Truly right thing that you have pointed at, sir, and we'll circulate this in the group so that the young scholars would join and attend every Sunday. Thank you so much, sir. Now I request Dr. Roy Anup Rai, sir, to have his words. Dr. Anup Rai.
Thank you, Om. Congratulations to Philosophy family for its successful completion of 3 wonderful years. I am thankful and extend my deep gratitude to each and every member of Philosophy family, each and every esteemed member for their participation, for their contribution, for their all type of help and cooperation for the growth of Philosophy family, for the health of Philosophy family. It's a wonderful 3 years, I say, because rarely we see such an academic platform continuously doing such grateful uh, great success in country, even abroad. So, and all this success and all these are possible due to the labor, sincerity of so to say, three musketeers, um, Pramod Das, K.M. Narendra, and Kailash Mahana. They are my dear friends and brother like. I can see a great future for philosophy family uh, for whom sky is the only limit, even if, even if sky is the limit. Uh, I doubt a day will come, sky will not be the limit for philosophy family. But for that, as Alokan sir has told, or you are telling, um, youngest, those are in service, those are not in service, those are interested in philosophy, they should join more and more and make it a bigger caravan, bigger um, group, body to go further. Then only, if we see younger people are joining, they are participating, then only the true spirit of philosophy family will be successful. Thank you all the members of philosophy family. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your words and suggestions. Now I request Bhaskar sir, and then I request Bhaskar sir. Please, are you there, sir? Well, I don't find him. Well, Brindavan Mahapatra sir, please.
Bhaskar sir is there. Bhaskar sir is there.
Um,
Bhaskar sir, please unmute
Bhaskar
yourself.
sir, please, sir. Bhaskar sir, please.
Thank you, Professor K.M. Narayana sir, for giving me this opportunity to speak few words. I was constantly attending the seminar, but due to my some personal problems and other problems, I could not attend the seminar. But first of all, I congratulate Trimurti of K.M. Narendra, Pramod Das, and Dr. Kailash Chandra Maharana for their sincere efforts and interest. Now this family has been survived and coming up to a stage. Now it is becomes an international, coming to the international level. They've invited most of the participants, most of the professors from the international repute, national repute, and it has gone to the world global level. So I have nothing to say. I just only have my good wishes for the development of the and for the progress of this philosophy family and for the betterment of the philosophy family and for its growth and development. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Namaskar.
Thank you so much, sir. Brindavan Mahapatra sir. Yes, sir, you are not audible. Sir, you are not audible. You are not visible and audible. You are not visible, you are not now visible and audible. Sir, you are not audible. Sir, you are not audible. Are you able to hear Dr. Brindavan Mahapatra, sir? Sir, you are not audible, sir. Brindavan, sir. You are not audible.
Sir, please unmute yourself. Brundavan sir, please unmute yourself.
No, he has unmuted, but voice is not coming. Anyway, we'll move to him back again. Okay. Now we'll request Hamidullah sir. Then we will observe, listen to the observations and the final report by our admin Professor Pramod Kumar Das. Well, Hamidullah sir, Professor Hamidullah sir is there. Few words from him.
Yeah, I am there.
Sir,
Thank
please
you.
few words, sir. Namaskar, sir. Please go.
Thank you very much for giving me this chance. I have been enjoying the seminars and conferences held by this group for last 3 years, and it is a great achievement that we could convince at least some of the serious scholars of philosophy to deliver lectures in this group. And as someone has already mentioned, we have invited even some internationally reputed scholars as well. If we want to make it a viable forum, we need to involve the youngsters, and we need to keep such programs and such topics which are attractive to young generation. So for that reason, we need to have some quiz programs sometimes. Sometimes we can have essay competitions so that we can attract this young talent to philosophy. And the colleges and universities where philosophy is being taught, we need to involve the departments there, and we should send the message to the heads of the departments so that more and more people are involving themselves and their staff and their students and research scholars in this process of philosophy family programs. I have been experiencing that the programs have been of a great standard, and people come prepared when they deliver their lectures. And it is very beneficial to the new generation of philosophers, as philosophy, taste for philosophy is dwindling with every passing day. We need to create interest of the youngsters in philosophy, and whatever means for that we can use, we should do that. And this can become a great forum for philosophical discussions. And still, whatever work has been done so far by the philosophy camp family, that is not less an achievement. We congratulate them that with this resilience and steadfastness they have been conducting these programs, and I hope that in future we will be able to attract more and more people, and this forum will become very vibrant forum for philosophical deliberations. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Well, let us move to our admin, Professor Das, who is the man behind this family. Well, we have Reena Madam also. We can listen to her later. Professor Das, because he is the man who has shaped out this philosophy family. It is because of his efforts that we are surviving till this day. Without fail, we haven't conducted the exams. Over to Professor Das.
Thank you, Dr. Rao. My namaskar to all of you present here in this August session. Just I am muting Professor Maharaji. Okay. We are organizing such webinar programs since 3 years freely. Freely means there is no membership here. It is a very it is easily accessed to students because it is free. Nothing, nobody has to pay anything here. And the speakers are so humble that we do not pay anything to them. They are so speaking freely and without taking any payment. So this is an opportunity for the whole nation, for the young generation. In spite of this, if they will not come forward, it is proved that they have lost their interest. If a platform is there and there is no membership, it is absolutely free. We don't take a single pie from anybody. Only for publication, those who give us voluntarily, we accept. Otherwise, there is no membership, no type of a payment system. And as Dr. Srinivasan ji proposed that we should have membership, but I don't agree. We shall never do that, because we see the situation when everything is free. So we don't give that burden to our lovers of wisdom. Number one. Number two, philosophy is actually love of wisdom. If you don't have that shraddha, many people speak to me that you are a mad person. You are doing all these things. I replied them, yes, I am a mad person because only a mad person can do this. So you just add one or two words after mad, that somebody should be mad after knowledge. So that is love of wisdom. If we have, I see the senior resource persons like Dr. Professor Panneerselvam ji, Professor P.K. Mahapatra, and many others, Alak Tandon ji, Dr. Srinivasan ji. In this age, they are coming forward to deliver talks without accepting anything. Even they don't need any recognition here, because here we have only 10 to 15 or 20 audience maximum. So it is so they expect nothing, but they deliver everything. They are giving everything. So this is the attitude of philosophy. This is the attitude of the philosophy, which should be the attitude of the philosophy students and teachers. And also we see in the when the seminars are organized in the physical mode also, where universities are spending 1 lakh rupees, 2 lakh rupees, there also we see only the first day there will be the audience, some audience of 50 or 60 or maximum 70, 80. And the second day, third day, there will be no audience. Only the few people who will present the paper. So I shall present the paper and the co-presentators will listen to me. This is the situation in the physical mode that is done in the universities. So in both physical mode and online mode, we see the lack of interest in young scholars. What they actually need, that anyhow they can write some articles, anyhow that can be published in some journals, anyhow they will get some service and the job is over. So the research attitude is very much lacking in all over India. I am not talking about Odisha. So that should be enriched. So this is a great challenge for us, that we have very less audience, but still we go. Still we go in our direction, because when something has taken place, it is very much teleological. It has to be done, therefore it is done. And it is done in the such right time, one day it will prosper in a great way. All the talks have been uploaded in the YouTube. That means it is open for all. If today we are not giving interest, after 50 years, after 60 years, that interest may revive. So with that faith we have. So this is my observation. And what Alok Tandon said, that we are ignoring Western tradition. Actually, we don't do that. Many talks we have heard from Professor Panneerselvam ji. Um, Perhaps he has taken the Western issues more than Indian. And today he made a very much, he made a synthesis. He is not, he is saying that no philosophy should be overemphasized and no philosophy should be oversimplified. We should not overemphasize Western philosophy and we should not oversimplify the Indian philosophy, because they are complementary to each other. As Professor, our revered teacher, Professor sir said, that the philosophy is same for the Eastern mind and Western mind, because philosophy cannot differ, because it is a human possibility. So we are being bracketed when we promote one philosophy of one land. We should be free. We should be free. We should see the positive aspects of both Indian philosophy and Western philosophy. So this is a free platform. Everybody is free to participate here without giving any payment, and we do not pay anything to our esteemed speakers. We are publishing a edited book, which is also given free. We don't take anybody who demands a book from us, and also that is also available in the in the with the publisher. So if anybody will wish to purchase a book, he or she can do it. He or accept that book from the publisher also. So everything is freely available here. So we should have interest. We should have. Why you do not have? That is not our problem. I think the forum is running very well. This is a forum where great scholars like Professor PANNEERSELVAM ji, Professor Hamidullah Maharaj ji, Professor P.K. Mahapatra sir, Saroj Kumar Mahanti, I can't name because the names are more than 100. If this is the platform, everybody should take its opportunity. Everybody, young scholars, those who are in service, and those who have retired from the service. Because philosophy has no age. Philosophy is always romantic. And a philosopher should be romantic. Romantic means we should have that academic flavor to accept philosophy and to philosophize even when we are silent, even when we are very much personal to ourselves. We should think of what can be done, how can society be changed. Everything we do when we are silent, when we are alone, nobody is with us. So philosophy family has taken birth from that silence only, from that reflection only. Many times we reflect what to do, let us do this. Then it started. And when it started, many people joined. Many people means great people. Great people all over India and abroad. So I am grateful to all of you. And we three people, actually we don't believe in team spirit. We believe in the individual spirit. That if even one of three is present in a webinar program, he can do everything. He can coordinate, he can moderate, and he can host also. And if any one of us has taken one decision, that is final. That will not be questioned by any other. So this is the individual spirit out of which we can achieve great things. Thank you. I am really grateful to all the speakers who have with us since 3 years for this academic pursuit. I am grateful to you see that Professor Ranjit Ghosh sir. Uh, he is present and he has witnessed everything that he has witnessed the less audience. He has also witnessed the maximum audience. He is with us since 3 years in all webinars, and see, he is present like a student because his participation is very lively. He asks pertinent questions and participates in the discussion very interestingly, and that inspires us. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you. We are really grateful to all the speakers. Again and again, we are inviting the young scholars because this forum is made for them. Even we were organizing the national webinar competition. There are many scholars participated, and they excelled themselves as the extempore speakers. We have created many extempore speakers who are very much young from different universities. So let noble thoughts come from all sides. Let we have our better version day by day. We should have our own transformation through philosophic wisdom. Philosophy should not be confined to our salary, our classroom, our publication in a theoretical way. Philosophy should, in India, actually, philosophy is related to human life. Western, that is only conceptual. But here, when we say Jivana Dukkha Purna, here we don't discuss the concept of Dukkha. Here we are addressing the real Dukkha of life and how Nirvana is not a concept. Nirvana is an achievement. Nirvana is an attainment which we attain practically in this. Jivana Mukti is not a concept. It is attained in this life. So Indian philosophy is very much related to human life. And that the ultimate goal of life is self-transformation. If we are not getting transformed day by day, then education is meaningless for us. So with these words, I am very much grateful to my elder brothers, Dr. Kailash Chandra Mahana sir and Dr. K.M. Narayana sir. And I am very much grateful to Dr. Ranjit Ghosh sir for being with us regularly for since 3 years. And I am very much grateful to Dr. Srinivasan ji, who has introduced more than 50 great speakers in this forum. And all of them have delivered talks. And all these talks have been uploaded in the YouTube. So, and we are grateful to all and all. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, Vrindavan sir is there. Well, sir, let's see if your voice comes to us. Let's see, sir. Please.
Now I'm audible or not?
Audible now, sir.
Okay. Namaskar. I express my sincere gratitude to the philosophy family. There Kailash sir, Pramod sir, and Narayan sir. They have taken much strain for the betterment of the philosophy family. They are inviting important resource persons in India and also from abroad, which is very much helpful for the students of philosophy and scholars of the philosophy. This is a very nice program. For the last 3 years, I have been enjoying the program a lot. Really, Kailash sir and Pramod sir and Narayan sir, they are always trying how they will invite the very important scholars like Praful sir and today's speaker. It is really very much helpful to all the philosophy scholars. And long live philosophy family, which already Ranjit sir told. I also repeat the same, that long live. Very much, I am very much thankful to the philosophy family, and I express and I pray before Lord Jagannath continue the program very smoothly. Jai Jagannath. Namaskar.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Well, we listen to everybody, but one member wouldn't listen. May I request, because Rina madam is there since the beginning, may I request Rina madam, please, few words, few suggestions which can really help philosophy family to do better. Rina madam, if you have some words to speak, well, you are welcome. Dr. Rina Pratkar from Mumbai. Well, madam, please. I'll wait for half a minute. If you are interested, then it's all right. Otherwise, it's all right. Anyway, thank you. So, with these words, well, one thing let me tell to this the group. We are whatever we have tried. Recently, I could find.
Hello, sir.
Yes, Rina madam. Yes, madam.
Hi.
Yes, please. Yes.
Sir, I really thank that philosophy family has been organized in such a manner that it is all inclusive. That from, I can say that from Kashmir to Kanyakumari and from West Bengal to Gujarat, we are connected together. And this is the best part I have seen ever whenever I have joined. Whenever I get the time, I join. And I really feel that everyone has become a part of it. Like even though we are physically not connected, but mentally we are connected. Thanks to Das sir for such a wonderful initiative that he has started with it, and entire office bearers of this family. It's like providing opportunity to those who are interested, whether it is a young, whether it is old, or retired person, whoever it might be. This platform is available for philosophy discourse. Thank you, Das sir. Thank you, Narayan Rao sir, and everyone goes that. And I really feel fortunate that I am a part of it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Rina Pratkar madam. Well, the entire charge of recording the webinars lies with Madam Swarnalata Tripathi. It would be unjust on our part if we don't listen to her, because she takes the role of recording all the webinars, and later Professor Pramod Das uploads. So may let us have few words from Swarnalata Tripathi madam.
Thank you, ma'am.
Well, Swarna madam, I don't think she is there. Swarnalata Tripathi madam. Anyway, anyway, thank you. So, anyway, if she connects well with this, let us thank Professor Profula Mahapatra sir for gracing this occasion as the chief guest, and also thank Professor Panneerselvam sir for his nice lecture. And also, we request Professor Mahapatra and Professor Panneerselvam to guide us, to help us, and also request both of them to present talks in this family. And one more thing, a beautiful thing that I have noted recently. One of the articles of Professor Prafulla Mahapatra sir, "One Life is Enough," has been quoted with a total detail of the book, showing philosophical reflection, philosophy family publication. So this is one thing. So the articles from this book are being quoted, and people from various parts whose articles have appeared, they are asking for letters from the editor, so that that should be helpful for their promotion. And some people have got promotion based on the articles published in Philosophy Family Publication. So these two things, good things have come out. So so, in future, we will be catering better things. Thank you. Well,
Oh, oh,
sir,
oh, let me say something.
sir,
Hello.
yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir,
Next time I will speak. Okay.
yes, sir, yes, sir.
Next time when?
Okay, sir. You tell us the date, sir. Whenever you feel like, sir.
No. When is the next time for you?
Maybe, sir, towards the last week of August,
Last week of August. Okay.
sir.
So I will speak on karma.
Okay, sir. Fine, sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir. Yes, sir. Then, sir.
Namaskar.
We'll be in touch with you, sir, and say out the entire
Yeah,
process.
you will be in touch now. You will be in touch with me.
Yes, sir.
So my
Yes,
topic will be karma.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Karma and rebirth, let us say.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Well,
Okay.
may I request? Thank you so much, sir. May I request Swarna madam for her words? Kind words.
धन्यवाद सर, सबको मेरा प्रणाम। ये प्रोग्राम मुझे बहुत ही अच्छा लगता है और मैं तो सभी को धन्यवाद बहुत बहुत देती हूँ। और सर प्रफुल्ल सर आपको भी बहुत धन्यवाद, राहुल
Thank you.
सर आपको भी धन्यवाद। और ये बहुत ही अच्छा प्रोग्राम है। आज हर रविवार को वन मंथ में जब होता है ना, तो मैं देखती हूँ।
Good.
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद राव सर, महाराणा सर, सबको।
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
प्रणाम।
Thank you so much. So with this, let us move to Dr. Kailas Mahana sir for proposing a formal vote of thanks.
Okay, thanks so much, Dr. Rao. On behalf of Philosophy family, I would like to extend my gratitude to our chief speaker, Professor Selvam sir, for sharing his philosophical reflection on Indian philosophical tradition and Western philosophical method. I am honored to extend my gratitude to our teacher and teacher of teachers, Professor P.K. Mahapatra sir, for his critical observation on the talk of Professor Apan Shelvam sir. We all have been benefited by the speech of Professor Apan Shelvam sir. I propose my thanks to the for inaugurating the third edited book, Philosophical Thinking. And our gratitude goes to Professor Dr. K. Omanara Rao, the way he has edited book, And we are very thankful for his meticulous the way he meticulously edited this book. And we all have listened the observation and blessings of Professor Ranjish Ghosh sir, Professor Srinivasan, Professor Alok Tandon, Professor Bundavan Mahapatra, Dr. Anup Rai, um, uh, Aniruddha sir, Professor Bhaskar Shah sir, Dr. Reena Madam, Professor Hamidullah Maharaji sir, Pramod sir, and Om sir, and all others. We have listened to the observation of our learned professors. The observation session has made us conscious on our limitations, and we will definitely take the challenges of 21st century and think of the scientific philosophy that Professor Alok Tandon has uh, observed and giving the suggestion. And we will also think of to take the new challenges and the other emerging issues of philosophy. So thanks so much to all the learned participant and to the observation of our learned professors, those who have given their observation and blessing today. We extend our gratitude to all the speakers throughout the year for their commitment for philosophy and love of wisdom. We bow down before the honesty and humble way of presentation of our esteemed professors and young scholars. We extend our gratitude to all the participants for their participation throughout the year. Friends, all the learned participants and professors are requested to recommend the names of young scholars and other professors for the future programs. My special thanks go to Professor Dr. E. Munana Rao sir, Professor Pramod Das sir for their engagement, for their commitment for philosophy. And with this, I would like to extend my gratitude to all the participants of this annual day program. And you all have said that we three are doing a marvelous thing. Nobody should think that we three are doing everything. It is because of you all we are able to execute the program. It is because of your participation we execute the program. It is because of the learning professors and speakers, the philosophical activities of philosophical program exist. So we bow down before all the learning professors, speakers, and participants. Those are there to continue the philosophical program's philosophy. For them, we exist. For them, the philosophical reflection of philosophy family exists. So we extend my gratitude to all of you for your benign presence, for your cooperation, for your commitment for philosophy. Thanks so much. Now I would like to request Professor Om Namnasal to carry on the further programs.
Hello. Yes, Dr. Rao. After Professor Mahapatra's speech, that means on 27th of August, you can keep me in the beginning of this September, and I shall write on development and quality of life.
Very nice, sir. Very nice. Thank you. Very nice, sir.
Because you see, some professors like Alok Tandon and others, they are not getting comfortable with all these things. So let us have some recent topics and have discussion on them. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. So we have in the end of August lecture by Professor Mahapatro, and first week of September by Professor Ranjit Sir. Over to Professor Pramod Das sir for his final reports.
Sir, actually,
Over to Professor Das.
yes, sir, actually, all the Sundays of August are occupied. So we shall request Professor to deliver his talk on the 1st September, the first Sunday of the month of September.
All right.
First
Just
Sunday,
let me know.
and Ranjit sir, second Sunday of September.
All right. Okay.
And yes, I have one information what I forgot to say. Very soon we are starting the post-Kantian philosophy. Up to the so in that we shall have maximum scope for the discussion about Western philosophy, and we shall invite great scholars, resource persons, and we shall start that program, and that will be helpful for the students, university students and the college students. Thank you, sir. With this, this session is declared closed. Thank you all.
Okay. Okay.
With the art of love, namaskar everybody. Okula sir, Panneerselvam sir, Ranjit sir, and everybody. Hamidullah sir, namaskar. Thank you so much for making this evening so great. Namaskar everybody. Well, Hamid sir want to say something. Hamid sir, yes sir. Hamidullah sir, yes. Want to say something. Yes sir. Professor Maharaj.
This program was really a nice meeting today. So we should continue with this deliberation. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Panneerselvam sir, thank you so much for delivering this lecture and being with us. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody.